Disclaimer: this tutorial is not directed to a beginner using Unreal Engine 4. This tutorial is for the ones that already have a basic understanding on how the engine works. If you want, you can follow along and see what and how is done things using Unreal Engine 4. English is not my native language, so I may speak with a heavy accent. I'm trying to learn more so I can teach you all. This tutorial is done using Unreal Engine version 4.25. Things might differ on other versions. I will be only using marketplace assets, but you can use your own or find any for free on the internet. Internet is going to be your friend while developing games. Just don't be using things other teachers only. Create your own. This will make you learn faster and better. Unreal Engine 4 tutorial: how to make a basic movement system. Hello, my name is Vinicius, and today I'm going to be teaching you how to make a basic movement system using Unreal Engine. We'll be using C++ to make it, so let's get started. First off, I'm gonna create the project. As you can see here, I'm using the version 4.25, so it's different from the versions before that. So we have games, click next. I think you already know how to create a project if you are on this tutorial. If not, follow along, and it's not really different. I'll select a blank project, next. Instead of choosing blueprints, we'll choose C++, maximum quality. I can put this as scalable because I really do not care about graphic quality right now. So I'm gonna put my project here on the tutorials folder. I'm gonna call it basic movement. Create project. And I'll wait for this to compile, and I'll be back to you guys in a minute. Alright, as you can see, Unreal finished creating the project. It's already open for me. Now, first thing that I want to do, I want to create some inputs so we can jump straight to the code. So I'm going to edit project settings. Go to input, axis mapping. I'm gonna add one. Gonna be named move forward. The key is going to be W. Same thing, move backwards. The way I'm using this, I will have a purpose. I will tell you later. It's going to be the S key, and it's going to be -1. Same thing here to move right. Going to be the D key. Move left. Going to be the A key with the value scale inverted, -1. Look up. It's going to be the mouse Y axis. Here it's going to be negative because I don't like my mouse inverted. If you like it, just leave it like that. If you want me to have the mouse inverted, look right. It's going to be the mouse X. Okay. Now close this. Actually, did have to close. Let's go to description, and I'm going to change this because if you create a class before you change this, it's going to be having this fill out your corporate notice in the description page of project settings. I like to change this to whatever I have here, so I don't know, all rights reserved. Created by Vinicius, data, e-mail, Cordeiro já. gg@gmail.com, ig@vinicordeiro.x. I like to have this because it's going to be on our code. I think we are ready. If I'm not forgetting anything, I think we're ready. So we close this. We click here so we can have this little stuff here. We can have this new stuff, sources panel. Now it's easier. We're going to C++ class, basic movement, and here we have the our game mode. We are not going to be using this for now. We are going to create our own classes. So now we need a base class, a base character class. So I'm going to create this right now. Right click, new C++ class, or you can do too by going file, new C++ class. As you can see here, I have to choose a parent class. I'm going to choose the class character, as we want to be able to move around the world of the game. So click next. Public, going to be base character. I can choose a folder here. I'd like to organize, so I'm going to put on core characters. So I have everything categorized, organized for me when I have to check for looking for files or other classes as such. So now we click on create class and wait for the engine to create our class. When it's finished, I will be back with you guys. Okay, and the code compiled. I always get this error message. I don't know why, but let's continue. As you can see, it says successfully added class base character. However, you must recompile the basic movement module before it will appear in the content browser. I don't know what that means, but I usually just click no because I don't want to open the output log, and I looked at it and I didn't see anything that told me what was the error here. I cannot say what's wrong on the generation file, as you can see here. So I'm just gonna go back to the Visual Studio. It's already open because when you create the project, if it's not open, click File, Open Visual Studio. Now go to Solution Explorer, go to my source, basic movement, public, core characters, base character. I'll open this up. Same thing, public core characters, base characters .cpp, the source file. Now the header I'm going to put here aside so I can see both of the header and the source file. What I'm going to do here on the base character header, I'm going to add some functions here. Variable void on construction const after transform reference transform override. I'm going to override this function so I can be changing things on the character and it will update like in real time. So it's like the construction script run on the game and editor begin play. And another one that I'm going to put here, it's the post initialize components. So virtual post initialize components override. So I can be using this to override these two functions. Virtual void. So let's start. So right click, quick create definition, right click, quick actions and refactorings, create definition of post initialized components. This will create this for us. As you can see, the header here, it's like this, but the slash here is backslash, so I want the forward slash, because Unreal Header 2 does not like backslashes for some reason. So just delete that. Cannot open. Public or outside the public. What the? As you can see, Unreal is really bugged out with this. I think I can use the dot dot, because I don't know, the headers in all left up. I will just build now to see if the errors go away. Unreal is really bugged out. I don't know the reason. It's just annoying as heck. I will build to see if the errors go away. It did compile first. You can see still having some errors here, so I'm just gonna close this. And the engine here again, as it compiled, we can see that the class appear here. Now the next thing we are going to do, actually that we are already here, so it's going to core, going to characters, I'm gonna add a new C++ class. I'm gonna add the player controller, so characters / player. So we have our folder just for the player. So going to be basic movement, so BM player controller. BM is short for basic movement. It's going to be public, so create class. Now we wait to compile. Okay, it did the same thing as before. So no, the thing I'm going to do, I'm going to click File, and I'm going to refresh Visual Studio Project. It will update our code for us. I'll just wait. So it did update, so I'm going to File, Open Visual Studio. It's loading our solution, loading our project. Just have to wait a little. As you can see, it did open our classes that we had opened before, so select Explorer, core, character, player. Here is our header, Control K and Control the source file from the header, and from the source file you go, if you use the same keys you go to the header, so it's easier to switch between those two. So here in base character I have all this, I have our base controller, so I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm gonna core, characters, player, and it's the path to our header file right here. Core, characters, player, BM, player controller. Same thing, Control B, so we can build to have access to this on the Unreal Engine editor here. As you can see, it's not only when we build. And I'll be back when the build finished. Okay, it's finished building. As you can see, it succeeded. so it will appear here. So on the editor, so as we are here on the editor, we're going to core. We're going to add a new class, new C++ class. We're going to click show all classes, object. We're going to create a new object. It's going to be named BM game definitions. Going to be public. It's going to be the folder core slash data. So it created this new folder for us, and we create class. So we have another class. When it finished compiled, I will be back. Okay, it did finish compiling. That's the same thing as before. Just go back to the Visual Studio. As you can see, we have BM game definitions. So we'll open it. I'll leave it here. The only thing we're gonna take out is this UObject and export types. And this class will hold all structures, enums, definitions for our game project. So it's gonna be like hashtag define, collision, like footstep, collision, the type is ECC, game trace channel 1. This will define a new type of collision on the game. So we'll leave it here. Define concrete, like the physical material, so it's going to be here, and type surface type 1, and we can do this to all of our things we want to add here. Another thing we want to do is to create a new kind of a new log so we can print stuff on the game. So want to be hashtag define right now. No, actually I won't do this right now, I'll do it later. We can just go to the source file here and correct this. So core data slash bm game definitions, close this. We can hit Ctrl B, so it build for us, so we can get back to the engine and start working with more stuff. As you can see, it won't take too long. It's already compiled for us. As you can see, we have this folder here, core data with the game definitions. Next thing we want to do is, let me just dismiss this because it's getting annoying. Next thing we're going to do, we are going to open the launcher here. I'm going to import my animations from the marketplace that I bought. You can be importing from you create your own or bought on some another place. I will use this, so I will import the where is it? Mobility Pro mocap pack. This is a really good pack with animation. So add to project, gonna add to our project. Wait. Did finish. We have here animations, but I will try to organize this more. So I'll create a new folder. I'm gonna call it assets. Then create a new folder inside the assets folder called animations, and I'm gonna put this here so I have more organized stuff. So move here. As you can see, it finished moving. I'm just gonna close this. It did leave this folder here. To fix this, I'm going to go click on the content, right click, fix up head directories in folder. Done this, save. Now we click, right click, showing Explorer. What we will do is cut this, Control X, and paste it here. And we overwrite the file. Now let's go back here, we save it again, just be sure it's all fixed. Just it's ready, it's already on the new folder. Now next thing we want to do is go back to the C++ class, data. We're going to create a new class, a new C++ class. The parent will be the type Unreal Interface. It's going to be an interface first. I'm going to name it BM Game Interface. This will be the interface that will be basically on all classes of our game, all of the classes. So we just create it. Alright, back, same stuff. Gonna open Visual Studio, solution. As you can see, we have our interface here. What this interface does, it basically we can inherit this to other classes, so we use functionalities from it. So first thing I want to add here, it's the header file of our game definition. So BM game definitions, we add it here. This will allow us to have all of the definitions we have here. We'll have on the interface that basically we'll have in all of the classes that inherited from this interface. We have to inherit what we do with hashtag include data bm game interface.h. We do this, we add the header, and we public I game interface. So this is basically what makes this class inherit the interface. Next we're gonna do is we're going to actually put the mesh on the character. So it's going to create a new variable here. So we need to expose to the editor. So what we do, we create a U property. It's going to be invisible, defaults only, blueprint read only, and the category will be components. This will allow us to create actually the camera boom, the spring arm component. So we do class U spring arm component, and will be named spring arm component. We don't need to go really creative with the name. And this will control the location. This will control the collision detection for the camera in the game world. Next thing we are going to do, we're gonna put the mesh. So the camera, so same thing, visible, defaults only, blueprint read only, category, components, class U camera component. That should be camera component. I can spell it. Visual eyes of the character in the world. This is going to be like a third-person camera, so we can use this. We are going to add some classes to our game definitions class here. So first I'm going to do right here, we're gonna do core engine includes the thing engine component. So it's on the core, we're gonna hashtag include game framework slash spring arm component.h. Same thing here. Going to hashtag include camera slash camera component.h. The headers we are going to add here. Now we go to the source file of the character, and we will need to put this here. So we create first here on the editor. If we don't do this, it will give us an error. So string arm component equals create default sub object, going to be the type u string arm component. I can spell it. Print, not sprint, spring. Text basically is the second name, so spring arm component. And we're going to attach it to the mesh. So spring arm component, not actually to the root component. So set up attachment. And we are going to attach to the root component, so root component. Given pointer to incomplete class. I don't know why. Correct. Comments here, the interface. And the player. Okay, give me name. Oh, okay. BM game interface. BM game interface. car slash data slash BM game interface. So because of the bug with Unreal Engine and Visual Studio Community 2019, I don't know why this happens. Right now, spring arm component. Next thing we're gonna do is we are going to be use spawn control rotations equal to true. And up here we are going to set the use spawn use controller your rotation equals false. And now we're going to add the camera, so it's camera component equals create default object. Create default object camera component camera component. That's to be text camera component use controller rotation equals false, and camera component set up attachment. We are going to attach to the spring arm component, so spring arm component. That's why we need to create this first before the camera, because if we create the camera and attach to the spring arm component, it actually does not exist yet, so it will probably crash your engine, your editor. So camera component, if you want to set the field of view here, you set field of view 70 or something, but for the camera is basically that for now, so we'll leave it as it is. Let me see, we need to fix the mesh location first here too. So it's get mesh set relative location, so is f vector 0 0 minus 90. So this will fix our position of the mesh, and we'll fix the rotation too. So set relative rotation f rotator Different from the blueprints, the yaw is actually the second value, so it's 0, minus 90, and 0. As you can see, there is pitch, yaw, row. It's not pitch, row, and yaw, it's pitch, yaw, and row. Different from the blueprints. So we have fixed it. What I want to do here is go to game definitions. We're going to add a new include here. Going to be helpers. The comment here, so hashtag include u object slash constructor helpers.h. This will allow us to use a class, so we can get something from here even before we open the engine, basically. So we go back to our base character. We go here, we're going to create a static variable, so static constructor helpers, and column, and we put f object finders. Going to look for a skeletal mesh, so u skeletal mesh, and the name of this will be char mesh equals, this will be the path to the mesh, like the path inside the editor where we're going to find this mesh. So we'll go back to Unreal, go to mobility, character mesh. We're gonna right click here and gonna copy reference. Now I just paste here. We can delete this and leave it just this with double quotes here, up here. So, and finished. Even as a rare here, constructor helpers. F object finders, not finders, find. Now we check if we did found a mesh, so char mesh dot succeeded. If succeeded, we set the default mesh of our character to this one that we found. So skeletal mesh, set skeletal mesh to char mesh dot object. This basically helps us to have a mesh before we compile. Basically, before because if we don't set this here, when we drag the mesh here to the world, it won't be showing here. As we did that here, we don't have to set any mesh before. We just can drag and probably we'll have our mesh here. To check if this works, we just hit Ctrl B to build and wait. As we can see here, it gives me an error. It will try to compile, but it will fail. What we're going to do is go to the BM game interface. We can double click here and go directly for us. So in hashtag include, we are going to add here data slash BM game interface. This will fix that. Ctrl B again and just wait. It did give me an error again. So it's basically I need to put core before. Core data BM game interface. As you can see, compiled successfully. Now if we open our engine here, it's compiling, as you can see. It's hot reloading. Now if we drag this here to the world, as we added that variable here, we add this stuff here, you will see something already here if the engine didn't crash or my PC didn't freeze. I don't know what happened. Yeah, the engine crashed. For some reason, the engine crashed. I will just send and restart again. As it's going to be quicker. As you can see, it's asking us to restart, so I just skip it. Here it is again. Secure, C++ classes, basic movement, public core character. Let's see if it's gonna crash for me again. It did. So there's something wrong here. Post-actor construction. Oh, okay. I forgot to call the here I forgot to call super. So here on construction we'll call super. On construction transform, the same thing will post initialize component. Post initialize components. Now we hit Ctrl F5, so it will build and open the engine for us. Okay, it did finish compiling it, and it's open and rearranged for us. Just wait. Here we have it. We open the sources panel here, and C++ class public core character. We have our mesh here already set for us because we did this right here. We found the mesh before even compiling here with the engine. So we have it. Move around, but we don't want to use this directly from the C++ class. We may want to change defaults with blueprints. So what we do, we go to the content. I'm going to create a new folder. I'm going to call it blueprints. Going to add a new folder, characters, and add a new folder called player. I'm going to click right click blueprint class. I'm going to select all classes, and I'm going to look for base character. Click and select BP player character, and we'll have it here. With double click and open it, we have everything here inherited. Everything works just fine. And this is gonna be for this video. On the next video, we'll be showing you how to make this character move. So see you there.